The grand chamber of the Galactic Council stretched impossibly high, its crystalline dome capturing the light of 3 suns. Admiral Marcus Reynolds stood alone on the circular platform, dwarfed by the towering representatives of 17 different species arranged in tiered seating around him. His weathered face betrayed no emotion, though sweat beaded on his brow beneath the harsh blue spotlight. "The human delegation will explain their actions at Proxima Centauri," announced Supreme Arbiter Vox, a 12-foot-tall being with translucent skin through which pulsed multicolored organs. Its voice resonated through the chamber without apparent amplification. Reynolds cleared his throat. The mining colony was established within Earth's registered territorial claim. A ripple of angry clicks and whistles swept through the chamber. A reptilian delegate leaned forward, scales glinting. "Your species was granted observer status only. You have no territorial rights. According to Statute 7329B of your own charter," Reynolds countered, tapping his datapad, "any species capable of independent faster-than-light travel qualifies for territorial expansion rights. But humans don't possess FTL technology," hissed Delegate Trex of the Dorvian Expanse. "Your vessels use our transit gates." Reynolds smiled thinly. "We did until recently." He gestured and the chamber darkened. A holographic display materialized, showing a sleek vessel unlike any the Council had seen, the EF's Prometheus. "Our first independently developed FTL vessel." Outraged shouts filled the chamber. The Supreme Arbiter's skin flashed crimson. "Impossible! Your technological development has been carefully monitored." Reynolds stood unflinching. "Perhaps you monitored the wrong research facilities." "This changes nothing," thundered Vox. "Your mining operation destroyed a sacred Zethar breeding ground. The penalty is immediate revocation of all Council privileges." "With respect," Reynolds replied, voice suddenly steel. "We were unaware of its significance. The star charts provided to Earth made no mention of protected zones." He tapped his datapad again. The hologram shifted to display Council star charts, then human charts, highlighting critical differences. "We were deliberately misled," Reynolds continued, eyes narrowing. "An investigation of Council communications will reveal who altered those charts and why. Earth demands this investigation before any penalties are assessed." The chamber fell silent. Then Delegate Trex rose, mandibles clicking furiously. "The human speaks falsehoods." "I move for immediate sanctions." Reynolds stepped forward. "You seem particularly eager to silence this inquiry, Delegate." "Perhaps because the mining rights to Proxima Centauri were recently awarded to Dorvian corporations." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Reynolds stood resolute as Vox's skin cycled through colors of agitation. "This Council session is temporarily adjourned," Vox finally announced. "We will reconvene in 3 rotations to address these accusations." As the delegates filed out, Ambassador Lix of the Tellurian Federation approached Reynolds. "You realize what you've done?" Lix whispered, 4 eyes blinking nervously. "No species has ever challenged the Council this directly." Reynolds watched Trex's retreating form. "We tried diplomacy. We tried compliance. Neither worked. What happens if they rule against you?" Lix asked. Reynolds' gaze hardened. "Then humanity will be forced to demonstrate why that would be unwise. You cannot threaten war with the entire Galactic Council." "We're not threatening anything," Reynolds replied quietly. "But if forced to defend ourselves, the galaxy will learn why on Earth. Even our most peaceful civilizations built monuments to their war dead." Back on Earth, the Defense Committee sat in tense silence as they reviewed the transmission from Reynolds. The windowless chamber beneath the Pacific Military Command was filled with the top brass of Earth's unified forces. General Diana Vega, head of Earth Defense, stood. "Reynolds bought us time, but not much. We need to accelerate our preparations." Admiral Jackson nodded. "The fleet is nearly ready. 4 vessels with the new drive system. 2 more weeks from completion." "The Council won't wait 2 weeks," warned Science Director Patel. "Not once they confirm our FTL capabilities." "Can they detect our shield system?" asked Vega. Patel shook his head. "No, the quantum camouflage is undetectable by their current scanning technology." "And the Proxima situation?" 87 personnel still on site, reported Jackson. "Evacuation would require revealing our hand." Vega studied the tactical display showing Earth's position within local space, surrounded by the blinking lights of Council monitoring stations. "We knew this confrontation was inevitable," she said finally. Ever since we discovered the truth, the room fell silent. Remembering the day Earth learned that the Galactic Council had been systematically suppressing technological development of new species, keeping them dependent on Council technology, while extracting their resources and innovations. Our agents in the Council archives sent a new data packet, Patel said, activating a secure terminal. Historical records of similar confrontations. The screen showed images of worlds now barren, species now extinct. The Council's method of dealing with those who challenged their authority was consistent and brutal. "They're going to try to make an example of us," Vega stated flatly. "They'll try," Jackson replied, "but unlike these others, we've been preparing." Vega turned to face the assembled leaders. "Activate Defense Protocol Omega. All civilian populations to underground shelters. Orbital defense grid to full alert. And prepare the Prometheus fleet for immediate deployment." As the commands went out, she added quietly, "And may whatever gods exist forgive us for what comes next." 3 days later, Reynolds stood again before the Council. This time the chamber was less crowded. Many delegations had withdrawn, sensing the coming storm. "The Council has reached its decision," announced Vox, his skin now a cold blue. "Earth is found in violation of territorial restrictions. All Council privileges are revoked. Human expansion beyond Sol system is prohibited. All existing extraterrestrial operations must be abandoned within 10 rotations." Reynolds remained impassive. "And the matter of the falsified star charts?" "Dismissed as irrelevant," Vox replied dismissively. "The Council's judgment is final." "I see," Reynolds said, his voice unnaturally calm. "And what measures will the Council take to enforce this judgment?" Vox's skin rippled with surprise. "A blockade will be established. Any human vessel attempting to leave Sol system will be intercepted." "A blockade," Reynolds repeated. "You mean an act of war?" Gasps echoed through the chamber. "This is not war," Vox replied. "This is enforcement of Council authority." Reynolds straightened to his full height. "Supreme Arbiter Vox, delegates of the Galactic Council, I have been authorized to deliver Earth's response to your judgment." The room grew still. "Humanity rejects the authority of the Galactic Council, effective immediately. We withdraw from all treaties and agreements. Earth declares itself a sovereign power, free from Council interference." Vox's skin flashed crimson and black. "This is unprecedented. No species has ever—" "Furthermore," Reynolds continued, raising his voice, "any hostile action against Earth or human interests will be met with immediate and proportional response." "You dare threaten the Council?" sputtered Delegate Trex. "Not a threat," Reynolds corrected. "A statement of policy. Earth desires peaceful coexistence, but we will not be subjugated." Vox descended from his elevated position, towering over Reynolds. "Do you understand what you're doing, human? Your world is isolated. Your technology inferior. Your military insignificant." Reynolds met the alien's gaze steadily. "Perhaps. But there's something you should know about humans, Arbiter Vox." "And what is that?" "Throughout our history, whenever faced with overwhelming odds, we've developed a rather inconvenient habit." "Which is?" Reynolds smiled thinly. "We tend to win." He turned and walked from the chamber, leaving stunned silence in his wake. As he reached his ship, his communication officer looked up anxiously. "Sir, Council vessels are moving to blockade positions around Sol system." Reynolds nodded as if expecting this. "Send the coded signal to Earth Defense. 2 words only. Thermopylae Protocol." As his ship prepared for the dangerous journey home through Council space, Reynolds gazed out at the stars, wondering if history would remember this as the day humanity made its greatest mistake, or its boldest stand. Unknown to the Council, Earth had been preparing for this moment for decades. Hidden shipyards activated, secret weapon systems came online, and deep beneath the lunar surface, a technology the Council believed impossible hummed to life, one that would soon change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. 3 months after the contentious Council hearing, Dr. Eleanor Wright stood before the Earth Defense Committee, her presentation illuminating the darkened chamber. Holographic projections displayed the tactical situation across local space. "The blockade around Sol system has been in place for 63 days, she explained, gesturing to the red barrier encircling humanity's home. 17 Council vessels maintaining position just beyond Mars orbit. General Thomas Blackwood, silver-haired and stone-faced, studied the display. And our options? Limited but not non-existent, Eleanor replied. Council technology still surpasses ours in most areas, but we have advantages they're unaware of. A new delegate, Director Kamal, leaned forward. The Council has suspended all diplomatic channels. Any attempt to break the blockade will be considered an act of war. They're already strangling us, argued Fleet Commander Ortiz, her dark eyes flashing. Supply shipments diverted, colonies cut off. This is economic warfare, Eleanor nodded. Our intelligence suggests this is temporary pressure. They expect us to capitulate within months as resources dwindle. They underestimate human resilience, Blackwood stated flatly. The chamber door slid open, admitting a breathless aide. Urgent news from Proxima Colony. Council forces have begun systematic dismantling of our facilities. Silence fell over the room. 87 personnel are still stationed there, Ortiz said quietly. Blackwood stood. This crosses the line from blockade to invasion. Director Kamal, what's the status of Project Prometheus? Kamal tapped his datapad. The prototype performed beyond expectations. We have 4 vessels operational. 4 against 17 Council warships plus whatever reinforcements they can call in, Ortiz noted grimly. Eleanor stepped forward. The Council believes they understand human capabilities. They've studied our conventional weapons, our power systems, our tactical doctrines. But Project Prometheus isn't just about FTL. She brought up new schematics on the display. We've incorporated technologies they've never seen. Quantum entanglement communications that can't be intercepted or jammed. Gravitational lensing shields. And most importantly, the convergence weapon system. Untested in actual combat, cautioned Kamal. So was the atomic bomb, replied Blackwood. Until Hiroshima, the committee fell silent, weighing implications. Eleanor continued. The Council believes they're dealing with a primitive species that stumbled onto FTL. They don't realize we've been studying their technology for decades, reverse engineering and improving upon it. What do you propose? Asked the committee chair. Blackwood straightened his uniform. A precise, limited operation. We extract our people from Proxima, demonstrate our capabilities, then open negotiations from a position of strength. The Council won't negotiate with a species that attacks them, Kamal warned. History suggests otherwise, Blackwood countered. The Council respects strength above all. Their own records show every species currently holding voting rights demonstrated military prowess first. Eleanor pulled up historical data. He's right. The Council's diplomatic protocols evolved from their military traditions. A show of force followed by restraint would align with their cultural expectations. Ortiz studied the tactical display. I can have the Prometheus fleet ready in 24 hours. The committee chair looked at each face in turn. We would be the first species in recorded history to challenge the Council militarily. Actually, Eleanor interjected, there was one other. The Arcturus Collective 3 centuries ago. And what happened to them? Someone asked. Eleanor's expression darkened. Their home system was sterilized. But they fought conventionally by Council rules of engagement. And we won't, Blackwood stated. No, Eleanor agreed. Humans have always excelled at asymmetric warfare. The committee voted unanimously. Operation Breakout would commence at dawn. As the others filed out, Eleanor approached Blackwood privately. There's something else you should know. Our deep space monitoring stations detected unusual energy signatures at the edge of the system. Council reinforcements? No, she said quietly. Something else. Something watching. Aboard the EFS Prometheus, Lieutenant Jack Foster reported to the bridge for his first combat mission. The sleek vessel hummed with nervous energy as the crew prepared for the unprecedented operation. Lieutenant Foster, navigation station, Captain Ananya Patel ordered crisply. Her dark eyes betrayed no fear, though she, like everyone aboard, understood the stakes. Foster slid into his seat, checking the advanced navigation systems. The quantum-entangled displays showed the formation of the 4 human vessels. Prometheus, Defiant, Valiant, and Indomitable, positioned in low Earth orbit. Pre-mission briefing, announced Patel, addressing the bridge crew. Our objective is extraction of all personnel from Proxima Centauri. We will utilize the convergence drive to bypass the Council blockade, neutralize any resistance at Proxima, and return with our people. She gestured to the tactical display showing the 17 Council vessels maintaining their blockade. Positions, these are Valyrian-class destroyers, explained Tactical Officer Rodriguez. Heavy energy weapons, antimatter torpedoes, and phase shields. Conventional weapons would be ineffective. Which is why we won't use conventional weapons, Patel replied. Lieutenant Foster, explain the convergence drive effects. Foster swallowed nervously. The convergence drive creates a spatial fold, essentially moving the ship by bringing 2 points in space together temporarily. Unlike traditional FTL, there's no transit time. We simply disappear from one location and appear at another. And our weapon systems? Asked Patel. The gravitational pulse will disrupt their drive systems without destroying their vessels, Rodriguez answered. It targets specific frequencies used in Council technology, temporarily collapsing their gravitational fields. Foster studied the enemy formation. They've positioned themselves to intercept any vessel attempting to leave the system using conventional drive paths. But we won't be using conventional paths, Patel said with grim satisfaction. Final system check. All stations report. One by one, the officers confirmed readiness. Foster's hands trembled slightly as he verified the navigation calculations. Lieutenant, Patel said quietly, noticing his nervousness. Have you ever heard of the Battle of Thermopylae? Ancient Earth history, Foster replied. 300 Spartans against a vastly larger Persian force. Patel nodded. They were outmatched in every way except one. They chose the battlefield. Just as we have. Captain, Communications Officer Lin interrupted. Encrypted message from command. Operation Breakout authorized. Godspeed. Patel straightened. All hands, battle stations. Activate convergence drive on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. Foster felt a momentary disorientation as space twisted around them. The Earth vanished from their view screens, replaced instantaneously by the red glow of Proxima Centauri. Transition complete, he reported. All vessels reporting successful jump. Council vessels at Proxima? Patel demanded. 3 destroyers in orbit around the mining colony, reported Rodriguez. They're scrambling to respond. They didn't detect our approach. Weapon status? Gravitational pulse charged and ready. Patel's expression hardened. Target their drive systems. Fire. The human vessels released pulses of concentrated gravitational energy, invisible to the naked eye but devastating to the Council ship's propulsion systems. The alien vessels began to drift, their lights flickering. Direct hits, Rodriguez confirmed. Their main drives are offline. Life support and weapons remain functional. They're hailing us, reported Lin. No response, ordered Patel. Communications with the colony only. Lin worked her console. Colony responding. They've been under Council occupation for 2 weeks. All personnel accounted for, but they report the Council has been dismantling our technology for study. Prepare for emergency evacuation, Patel commanded. All hands to retrieval stations. As the human vessels moved into position above the colony, Foster detected new energy signatures. Captain. Multiple FTL transitions detected. Council reinforcements arriving. 7 more Council warships materialized at the edge of the system, their weapons already charging. Evacuation status? Demanded Patel. 30% complete, reported Rodriguez. We need at least 15 more minutes. We don't have 15 minutes, Patel muttered. Defensive formation Delta. Prepare second salvo of gravitational pulses. The Council vessels opened fire, energy beams slicing through space toward the human ships. Gravitational lensing shields active, shouted Foster. The energy beams distorted as they approached, bending around the human vessels to converge behind them. They've never seen defenses like these, Rodriguez said in wonder. They don't know how to counter them. Don't get overconfident, warned Patel. They'll adapt quickly. Status of evacuation? 50% complete. The Council ships altered their attack pattern, switching to antimatter torpedoes. Incoming projectiles. Foster warned. Convergence point defense, ordered Patel. Small spatial folds opened in front of the torpedoes, redirecting them back toward the Council vessels. The aliens broke formation, scrambling to avoid their own weapons. Evacuation 75% complete. Suddenly, new alarms blared across the bridge. Captain, 3 more vessels dropping out of FTL, reported Foster. Unknown configuration. The new arrivals were smaller than the Council ships with sleek pale blue H. Lieutenant Jack Foster had never seen actual combat. Few humans had in the century since Earth unified. Now he stood on the bridge of the EFS Defiant, one of 4 prototype vessels about to challenge the most powerful military force in known space. Convergence drive spinning up, reported Navigator Wilson. Quantum entanglement network stable. Captain Ananya Patel nodded crisply. All vessels report ready, Lieutenant Foster. Yes, Captain, he confirmed, checking his console. Prometheus, Defiant, Valiant, and Indomitable in formation and awaiting your command. Very well. Patel activated the ship-wide communication system. All personnel, battle stations. We are about to execute the first phase of Operation Breakout. Foster watched the tactical display as the 4 human vessels accelerated toward Mars orbit, where the Council blockade maintained position. Council vessels are hailing us, the communications officer announced. No response, ordered Patel. Maintain radio silence. Activate gravitational lensing. Foster felt a subtle shift as the revolutionary technology engaged. Light bent around the human vessels, not rendering them invisible but distorting their appearance and sensor profile. Council vessels altering formation, reported Wilson. They're moving to intercept. Foster studied the approaching enemy ships. The smallest was twice the size of their largest vessel, bristling with weapon emplacements. Convergence point calculated, announced the weapons officer. Ready on your mark. Captain Patel's voice remained steady. All ships execute maneuver. Theta on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries. The 4 human vessels executed a perfectly synchronized jump, not through conventional FTL, but through what scientists called spatial convergence, essentially folding space to instantaneously reposition. They vanished from in front of the Council blockade and reappeared behind it, inside Mars orbit. Before the Council vessels could react, the human ships fired. Not conventional weapons, but targeted gravitational pulses that disrupted the enemy ship's drive systems. Direct hits on all targets, reported the weapons officer. Council vessels experiencing drive fluctuations. Foster watched in amazement as the massive alien ships began to drift, their main systems temporarily disabled. Transmit the following message to all Council vessels, ordered Patel. Your drive systems have been temporarily neutralized. This demonstration was conducted without casualties. We will now proceed to Proxima Centauri to extract our citizens. Any attempt to follow will result in permanent system failure. As the human fleet prepared for their second jump, alarm suddenly blared across the bridge. New contacts, shouted Wilson. 3 vessels dropping out of FTL directly ahead. Foster's heart sank as the massive ships appeared on the display. The Council had anticipated their move. Identification? Demanded Patel. Unknown configuration, replied the sensor officer, not matching any Council registry. A communication request flashed on Foster's console. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. On screen, ordered Patel. The view screen activated, revealing a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and silver eyes. Vessels of Earth. I am Commander Laris of the Arcturus Collective. We have been monitoring your conflict with the Council. Perhaps we can be of assistance. Stunned silence fell across the bridge. The Arcturus Collective was destroyed 3 centuries ago, Patel finally said. The alien smiled. That is what the Council wanted the galaxy to believe. In reality, we retreated to the galactic rim to rebuild. We have been watching for others with the courage to stand against Council tyranny. Foster exchanged glances with Captain Patel, whose expression remained carefully neutral. Why reveal yourselves now? She asked. Because your species has done what we could not, replied Laris. You've developed technology the Council cannot counter. Together we might finally break their monopoly on interstellar governance. Before Patel could respond, Wilson called out, Captain, more contacts. Council reinforcements arriving! The tactical display showed 7 more Council warships dropping out of FTL. They're charging weapons, reported the tactical officer. Laris's expression hardened. It seems diplomacy has failed. Will you fight alongside us, humans? Patel hesitated only briefly. We came to rescue our people, not start a war. I'm afraid, Laris replied. The Council has already made that decision for you. The massive Council vessels opened fire, but rather than targeting the human ships, they concentrated their barrage on the Arcturus vessels. They fear the Arcturians more than us, Foster realized aloud. Patel's eyes narrowed. All vessels, defensive formation Delta. Prepare convergence weapons. Today we show the Council why Earth never forgot the art of war. The battle that followed would become legendary. The human vessels, utilizing their convergence technology, seemed to flicker in and out of existence, appearing where least expected. The Arcturus ships moved with impossible grace, their advanced shield technology absorbing tremendous firepower. Council flagship is targeting our communications array, reported Wilson. Convergence jump, coordinates Delta 3, ordered Patel. The Defiant vanished, reappearing directly behind the Council flagship. Gravitational pulse, full spread, Patel commanded. The invisible waves disrupted not just the flagship's drive but its weapon systems as well. The enormous vessel drifted powerless. Captain, Foster reported. The other Council vessels are regrouping. Arcturus vessels are engaging, added Wilson. They're drawing fire away from us. Patel studied the tactical situation. This is our chance. All vessels prepare for coordinated strike on the remaining Council ships. Target weapons and propulsion only. In perfect synchronization, the human fleet executed another series of jumps, surrounding the Council formation. Their gravitational pulses fired simultaneously, creating a resonance effect that amplified their impact. One by one, the Council warships went dark. Their systems overwhelmed. All targets neutralized, reported the tactical officer in disbelief. No casualties detected on Council vessels. Open a channel to Commander Laris, ordered Patel. The Arcturian appeared on screen, his silver eyes gleaming. Impressive demonstration, Captain. The Council has never experienced such a defeat. This was not a defeat, Patel corrected. It was a statement. We could have destroyed their vessels but chose not to. That distinction is important. Laris nodded slowly. A strategic choice. The Council respects strength but fears those who show no restraint. Exactly. Now we need to complete our mission to Proxima Centauri. My vessels will escort you, Laris offered. The Council will send reinforcements. As the combined fleet prepared to jump to Proxima, Foster approached Captain Patel. Do you trust them, Captain? He asked quietly. The Arcturians? Patel's expression was guarded. Trust is earned, Lieutenant. For now, let's call it a mutual understanding. The journey to Proxima was swift. Upon arrival, they found 3 Council vessels already dismantling the human mining facility. Life signs? Demanded Patel. 87 human signatures detected in the colony habitation section, reported Wilson. All alive. Council vessels are powering weapons, warned the tactical officer. Standard response pattern, ordered Patel. Disable their drives first, then weapons. The human and Arcturus vessels moved with practiced precision, neutralizing the Council ships within moments. Prepare evacuation shuttles, Patel commanded. I want our people off that rock in 20 minutes. As the evacuation proceeded, Foster monitored long-range sensors. Captain, I'm detecting multiple FTL signatures approaching. Massive energy readings. Laris's face appeared on a secondary screen. Council reinforcements, as expected. But these energy signatures? They've dispatched a Purifier-class vessel. Patel's expression darkened. What's a Purifier class? A planet killer, Laris replied grimly. The Council is sending a message. Patel's jaw tightened. Then let's send one back. Status of evacuation? 80% complete, reported Wilson. 10 more minutes. We don't have 10 minutes, Patel muttered. Commander Laris, can your vessels cover our withdrawal? We can do more than that, Laris replied. We've been developing a countermeasure to Purifier weaponry. With your convergence technology, we might be able to implement it. Patel hesitated only briefly. What do you need? Access to your convergence drive specifications. We can modify our deflection array to create a spatial barrier. Foster tensed. The convergence drive was humanity's greatest technological achievement and most closely guarded secret. Patel seemed to read his thoughts. Partial access only. Enough for this specific application. As engineers from both fleets worked frantically to integrate their technologies, the evacuation continued. Foster watched the tactical display as the massive Council reinforcements grew closer. Evacuation complete, Wilson finally reported. All personnel aboard. Spatial barrier modifications complete, added the chief engineer. Untested, but theoretically sound. The first of the Council reinforcements dropped out of FTL, 27 vessels in attack formation, led by the enormous Purifier-class ship. They're powering their main weapon, reported Wilson, voice tight with tension. Energy readings off the scale. Activate spatial barrier, ordered Patel. The combined human and Arcturus fleets generated a shimmering distortion in space, not a conventional shield, but a warping of space-time itself. The purifier fired. Grand Admiral Jarvik of the Council Defense Force stared at the holographic display in the Strategic Command Center, his forearms clenched in frustration. Around him, the highest military officials from 17 species watched in stunned silence as the battle recordings played out again. Impossible, muttered Fleet Lord Xanthos. No developing species could defeat a Council battle group. Yet the evidence was undeniable. The human vessels, despite their small size and limited numbers, had neutralized Council ships 3 times their tonnage without destroying them. More shocking was the reappearance of the Arcturus collective, long thought extinct. This changes everything, said Strategic Director Morvay, her crystalline form shifting colors with agitation. If the Arcturians have been rebuilding for centuries, focus on the immediate threat, Jarvik interrupted. The humans have demonstrated technologies we've never seen. Spatial convergence, gravitational manipulation, targeted system disruption. The recording showed a Council dreadnought, pride of the fleet, drifting helplessly as its systems failed one by one. Not through destruction, but precision disruption. They could have destroyed our vessels, noted Science Advisor Trellix. Instead, they disabled them without casualties. A message, Jarvik concluded. They're showing restraint deliberately. The Supreme Counselor entered the chamber, flanked by security drones. All present rose in deference. Report, Admiral, demanded the Counselor. Jarvik straightened. The human fleet has reached Proxima Centauri and extracted their personnel. The Arcturus vessels provided cover. Our forces were ineffective against their combined technologies. You mean defeated, the Counselor stated flatly. Temporarily neutralized, corrected Jarvik. No Council vessels were destroyed, though 3 will require extensive repairs. The Supreme Counselor studied the tactical displays. What prevents these humans from striking our core worlds? From dismantling the Council itself? An uncomfortable silence followed. Science Advisor Trellix stepped forward. Analysis suggests their technology, while advanced in specific applications, remains limited in scale. They have only 4 vessels with these capabilities. For now, the Counselor noted. There's something else, added Morvay. Our intelligence division has been analyzing human historical and cultural records. Their approach to warfare is concerning. She activated a new display showing Earth's military history. Unlike most Council species who evolved toward ceremonial or limited warfare, humans developed total warfare, the complete mobilization of society toward military objectives. They fought wars of annihilation among themselves. When they unified, they redirected these tendencies toward scientific advancement, but the underlying capacity remains. Are you suggesting we cannot defeat them militarily? Asked the Supreme Counselor, voice dangerously quiet. I'm suggesting, Morvay replied carefully, that traditional Council military doctrine may be ineffective against human asymmetric warfare. They don't fight by conventional rules. Then neither shall we, the Counselor declared. Prepare the sundering fleet. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Supreme Counselor, Jarvik objected, the sundering fleet hasn't been deployed since the Arcturus rebellion. Its use is prohibited by our own laws except in existential threats. Is this not existential? Countered the Counselor. A species with impossible technology allied with our ancient enemy? The Council's authority must be absolute, or the galactic order collapses. As the command staff departed to prepare, Science Advisor Trellix approached Admiral Jarvik privately. There's something troubling in the sensor data from the engagement, she said quietly. The human vessels were emitting quantum signals unlike anything we've recorded. Meaning? They weren't just communicating with each other, Trellix explained. The pattern suggests they were communicating with other systems, possibly on Earth itself. Jarvik frowned. Remote operation? No, Trellix whispered. I believe their vessels were collecting data for something much larger. These 4 ships may just be probes for their actual weapon system. Why didn't you share this with the Council? Trellix's compound eyes shifted nervously. Because I'm not certain the Supreme Counselor is thinking rationally. The sundering fleet is a planet killer. If humans have what I think they have. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Elsewhere, in a secure chamber on the Council homeworld, Delegate Trex met with shadowy figures representing the consortium, the secretive organization of corporate interests that truly controlled much of Council policy. The humans cannot be allowed to retain this technology, stated the consortium chairman. It threatens not just Council authority, but our entire economic structure. The military response is underway, Trex assured them, and if it fails? Asked the chairman. Trex's mandibles clicked nervously. We've activated our contingency. Operatives are already moving against key human leadership. Good, the chairman nodded. Because if humans share this technology with other species, our monopolies collapse overnight. What none of them realized was that a small quantum device hidden in the chamber was capturing every word, transmitting it across impossible distances to a receiving station on Earth, where Director Kamal listened with grim satisfaction. We have confirmation, he told the Defense Committee. Operation Oracle was successful, General Blackwood nodded. Then we proceed to Phase 2. On Earth, preparations accelerated. Civilian populations moved to hardened underground shelters. Military assets were dispersed to minimize vulnerability. And beneath the lunar surface, the true extent of humanity's technological achievement was revealed. Not just 4 prototype vessels, but an entire fleet, hidden from Council observation for years. Admiral Reynolds stood in the vast underground hangar, watching as final preparations were made on dozens of convergence drive vessels. How many do we have ready? Asked Dr. Eleanor Wright, joining him on the observation platform. 87 combat ready, Reynolds replied. Another 30 in final assembly, Eleanor nodded. The Council will send the sundering fleet, our intelligence is certain. Let them come, Reynolds said calmly. The spatial defense network is operational. And now we have Arcturus support. Can we trust them? Eleanor asked. Reynolds turned to face her. Their technology complements ours perfectly, almost too perfectly. As if they've been developing it specifically to work with convergence theory. You think they've been watching us for longer than they admit? I think, Reynolds said carefully, that we need to understand their real agenda before we commit too deeply to this alliance. Their conversation was interrupted by a priority alert. Reynolds activated his communications implant. This is Reynolds. Admiral, came Director Kamal's voice. We've detected multiple assassination attempts against Earth leadership, 17 officials targeted simultaneously, all attempts foiled by our security measures. Reynolds' expression darkened. The consortium is getting desperate. There's more, Kamal continued. Long-range sensors have detected the sundering fleet mobilizing. 27 vessels, including the terminus. Estimated arrival, 72 hours. Reynolds exchanged glances with Eleanor. Implement checkmate protocol. I'll inform the Arcturus representatives. As they headed toward the command center, Eleanor's scientific curiosity overtook her. I've been analyzing the Arcturus shield technology. Their approach to spatial manipulation is different from ours. More elegant in some ways, less efficient in others. How so? We brute force spatial folding, she explained. They've developed a method to redirect energy through dimensional barriers. Combined, the two approaches create something neither of us could achieve alone. Reynolds nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps that's why they sought us out. Not just as allies against the Council, but as technological partners. The command center was a flurry of activity as they arrived. Displays showed the deployment of Earth's defenses and the approaching Council threat. Commander Laris waited for them, his silver eyes unreadable. Admiral Reynolds, our long-range sensors confirm the Council's deployment of the sundering fleet. As expected, Reynolds replied. We're implementing our defensive strategy. Laris studied the tactical displays. Your spatial defense network is impressive, but it won't be enough against the terminus. Its stellar compressor can collapse a sun into a singularity. We're aware of its capabilities, Reynolds said. That's why we're not planning to just defend. He activated a secure terminal, revealing a strategic plan designated Operation Checkmate. Laris's eyes widened as he reviewed the details. This is audacious. You plan to relocate your entire solar system? Not physically move it, Eleanor explained. We'll create a system-wide convergence field, effectively folding space around Sol system. To outside observers, including the Council fleet, Earth will appear to be 1 light-year from its actual position. The energy requirements would be astronomical, Laris noted. We've been harvesting zero-point energy from quantum fluctuations for decades, Reynolds replied. The Council believed our fusion reactors were our primary power source. They were wrong. And once you've repositioned Sol system, Reynolds' expression hardened. We strike. Not just at the Sundering Fleet, but at every strategic Council installation simultaneously. Laris stared in disbelief. That would require hundreds of vessels with convergence capability. 117 to be precise. The Council Sundering Fleet emerged from FTL at the edge of Sol system. 27 vessels of devastating power, designed for a single purpose: planetary annihilation. At their center, the Terminus, a vessel larger than Manhattan, carrying the forbidden stellar compressor weapon capable of imploding a sun. On Earth, in the hidden complex beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, President Diana Vega addressed the assembled leaders of humanity. The Council fleet has arrived, she announced, her weathered face solemn on the massive display. Their trajectory confirms their target is Earth itself. No panic swept the chamber, only grim determination. Operation Checkmate is authorized, she continued. May our ancestors forgive what we must do today. Aboard the Council flagship, Supreme Commander Zoltar surveyed the approaching human system with anticipation. The Council had never failed to crush rebellion, and this would be no different. Scans show minimal defenses, reported his tactical officer. Their 4 advanced vessels are protecting their homeworld, but they cannot stand against our armada. Open a channel, ordered Zoltar. I will offer them one chance to surrender their technology and accept Council judgment. Before the communication could be established, alarms blared across the bridge. Energy surge detected, shouted the sensor officer. Massive gravitational disturbance. Space itself seemed to fold around the Sundering Fleet. Suddenly, impossibly, the stars shifted. The Earth and its moon vanished from their scopes. What's happening? Demanded Zoltar. The science officer worked frantically at her console. It's impossible. They've created a system-wide convergence field. They've moved their entire solar system? That's absurd, Zoltar bellowed. No technology could... His words died as new contacts appeared on the tactical display. Not 4 human vessels, but hundreds, materializing from hidden positions throughout the system. And beyond them, the Arcturus fleet, twice as large as intelligence had indicated. On the bridge of the EFS Prometheus, Admiral Reynolds smiled grimly as the trap closed. All vessels execute Formation Omega, he ordered. Convergence weapons locked on Council drive systems. Beside him, Dr. Eleanor Wright monitored the massive quantum computer that coordinated the human fleet. The Arcturus vessels are in position. Spatial anchor points are stable. Open a channel to the Council flagship, Reynolds commanded. Supreme Commander Zoltar's image appeared on screen. His alien features twisted with fury. What have you done? He demanded. We've relocated Sol system to a position 1 light-year from its original coordinates, Reynolds explained calmly. A system-wide application of the technology you witnessed at Mars. Impossible, Zoltar breathed. Oh, it was quite possible, Reynolds continued. Though extraordinarily resource-intensive, we've been preparing this capability for decades. Ever since we discovered the Council's standing orders to eventually sterilize Earth, once you'd extracted all useful technology from us. Zoltar's expression confirmed the truth of this accusation. Now, Reynolds continued, I suggest you pay close attention to your tactical display. Throughout the Council fleet, commanders watched in horror as new readings appeared. Every Council world, every major base, every strategic installation now showed human and Arcturus vessels in orbit, vessels that hadn't been there moments before. This is Fleet Admiral Laris of the Arcturus Collective, came a new voice over the channel. As you can see, while you consolidated your forces to attack Earth, we deployed ours strategically. The Council's military advantage has ended. In the Antarctic Command Center, President Vega received confirmation of the operation's success. Open channel to all Council worlds, she ordered. Her image was broadcast across thousands of worlds as she addressed the galaxy directly. People of the Galactic Council, I am Diana Vega, President of the United Earth Government. Today marks a turning point in galactic history. For too long, The Council has ruled through technological suppression and military threat. They have kept emerging species dependent while extracting their resources and innovations. They have destroyed those who resisted, as they attempted with the Arcturus Collective. We do not seek to destroy the Council, but to transform it. Our vessels now orbit every major Council world, not to threaten, but to ensure a peaceful transition to a new form of governance, one that represents all species equally. We have disabled the Council military fleet without casualties. We have exposed the corruption of the consortium that truly controls Council policy, and we have demonstrated that humanity will not be subjugated or destroyed. To the Supreme Counselor and your advisors, your resignations are expected within the day. To the peoples of the galaxy, representatives are invited to Earth for the formation of a new galactic assembly, where no species holds dominion over others. When humans declare war, we do so not for conquest but for justice. The war is over. Now let us begin the peace across the galaxy, on hundreds of worlds chafing under Council dominance. Beings of all forms watched in awe as the balance of power shifted in a single day. In the Council chamber, the Supreme Counselor faced rebellion from within as delegates demanded acceptance of the human terms. And in Antarctic Command, President Vega turned to her advisors, and now, as she said quietly, the real work begins. Admiral Reynolds nodded. Creating a government is always harder than winning a war. True, agreed Eleanor, but humans have experience with both. Outside the windows of the command center, the Antarctic sky shimmered with unusual stars. The view from humanity's new position in the galaxy, from which they would help forge a new future for all intelligent species. 6 months later, the Great Hall of the new Galactic Assembly bustled with activity. Representatives from over 400 species filled the circular chamber, their diverse forms a testament to the vastness of life in the galaxy. At the center of the hall stood the Leadership Council, 12 beings elected to guide the new interstellar alliance. Admiral Reynolds, now Ambassador Reynolds, made his way through the crowded corridors. Beings of all descriptions nodded respectfully as he passed, some with admiration, others with lingering wariness. Ambassador Reynolds, called a voice behind him. He turned to see Ambassador Trellix, formerly the Council's science advisor, hurrying to catch up. Her insectoid form moved with surprising grace. The Transitional Committee has reached consensus on technology sharing protocols, she reported. Even the former consortium worlds have signed on. Reynolds nodded. Good. Technological equity is the foundation of this new order. Some still find it difficult to accept that monopolies are no longer sanctioned, Trellix admitted. Change is never easy, Reynolds replied. But the alternative was unsustainable. They entered a smaller meeting chamber where Dr. Eleanor Wright was deep in discussion with 3 Arcturian scientists. The integration of our spatial folding techniques with your dimensional barrier technology is proceeding faster than expected, she was saying. Preliminary tests suggest a 90% improvement in efficiency. As you humans say, 2 heads are better than 1, commented Laris, who now served as the Arcturian representative on the Leadership Council, or in our case, hundreds of research teams working cooperatively, Eleanor added with a smile. Reynolds joined their discussion. The first joint human Arcturian vessels will begin patrolling the former Council borders next month. The message should be clear. The peace will be protected. And how goes the integration of the former Council worlds? Asked Laris. Mixed, Reynolds admitted. Some species have embraced the new order enthusiastically. Others are more hesitant. The former ruling species are particularly resistant. Not surprising, said Eleanor. It's difficult to relinquish privilege. Speaking of which, Trellix interjected, the former Supreme Counselor has requested an audience with the Leadership Council. Reynolds raised an eyebrow. For what purpose? He claims to have information about threats from beyond the galaxy's edge, Trellix replied. Something the Council had been monitoring for centuries. Convenient timing, noted Laris skeptically. Perhaps, Reynolds acknowledged. But we should hear what he has to say. If there's even a chance it's legitimate. Their conversation was interrupted by an aide rushing into the chamber. Ambassador Reynolds. Urgent communication from Earth Defense Command. Reynolds excused himself and stepped aside to take the call. His expression grew increasingly grave as he listened. Understood. I'll inform the Council immediately. He returned to the group. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected anomalous energy signatures from the intergalactic void. Massive objects moving toward the Milky Way, the former counselor's warning, Trellix whispered. Perhaps, Reynolds said, or perhaps something else entirely. Either way, the assembly needs to be informed. As they made their way to the main chamber, Eleanor touched Reynolds' arm. Do you ever regret it? Changing the course of galactic history? Reynolds considered the question. We didn't set out to reshape the galaxy. We only wanted to protect Earth. But sometimes, the right action at the right moment cascades into something greater than anyone intended. And now we face a new unknown together. Laris added. That's the difference, Reynolds replied. Together. Whatever comes from beyond, it won't face a divided galaxy ruled by fear and suppression. It will face a united front of species working cooperatively, sharing their strengths. As Reynolds' ADR,